Welcome to the Business Renovator for another day. I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know where you are, but where I'm at, it's a gray day and there's snow falling from the sky. The good thing about that, though, is it actually makes things greener in the spring, but not in the winter. It makes everything a lot whiter. So as normal, what I'd like to do is start off with a quote from my buddy's book. Just bear with me while I get the marketing propaganda up so I can show you what his book looks like. It's pretty impressive. Here it comes. So this book is authored and curated by my friend, Brian Monahan, as you can see there. And the quote I'm taking out today is going to be interesting because what I'm going to be talking about today contradicts the quote that's in here, but that's okay. Until I learned about the contradiction, I would have thought the same thing. So here's the quote. Treat your customer as you want to be treated as a customer. Catherine Pulsifer, I think is her name. Brian's take on that is if there were 10 commandments of customer delight, this would be one of them. I'm sure its roots are in the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them done to you. The contradiction about that is what I want to talk about today. And this is what I want to talk about. So the platinum rule and the golden rule. For centuries and decades and a long freaking time, we've been taught that do unto others as you'd like to be done unto. And in the world of sales, leadership, and motivating people to move to another direction, the golden rule does not work. It's a polite sort of thing to do. It's respectful, but it does not work. How do I know that? Well, for the last 13 years, I've been studying behavioral sciences. And one of the people I've studied under is Dr. Tony Alessandra. Now, he's an American from the east side of the US, and he sold things. I forget exactly what the products were that he was selling in the Jersey area, but he decided to expand and go, and he was very, very successful. And so he decided to expand and go to western side of the U.S. and live in California. I mean, the girls are warm, the sun's warm, they hardly have any snow unless you're in Northern California. One of my favorite places to go in all of the U.S. is San Diego, Mission Beach area. I love that place. However, that's not what this is about today. What Dr. Tony told us was that when he went to California and tried to sell the same things in the same way as he did in New Jersey, he was totally shut down. He didn't understand why. He was using the golden rule. The golden rule didn't work. Tony's pretty funny. He says, do you know what the golden rule is? And the funny side of that is, the one with all the gold rules. Well, that's not the golden rule that I'm referring to. What I'm referring to is the one is do unto others as you prefer to be done unto. So in today's nugget, what I wanted to share with you, and if you would like to learn more about this, and when we get to the other side, you can always send me an email to Phil@Coach Phil, and we can have a conversation, a virtual coffee, and I can actually teach and train you so that you can increase your sales effectiveness, because most of us are in sales that I hang out with, by 75. Well, let me explain that a little bit different. We're at risk, it's as high as 75% of the time, in communicating to somebody in a way that doesn't register with them. I don't know if you've ever had a great sales presentation. You thought you had a great prospect. You asked a lot of great questions. You peeled back the onion. You were a really good doctor of sales. And then you prescribed a solution. You made a presentation, and you get to the end of the presentation, and they go, "Yeah, okay, oh well, we want to think about it." And you go away, and then crickets. They don't return your calls. They ghost you, I guess, in modern day language, and you wonder what the heck happened. Well, you probably used the golden rule and didn't know about the platinum rule. So the secret to the platinum rule is do unto others the way that they would prefer to be done unto. So there's a science behind this. Pace, so what speed do they communicate at, and are they open or guarded? And when you understand what the differences are, can recognize that, it can help you build rapport so much faster. One of the opportunities I'm working on and have worked on is involves a number of people in company, and there's different flavors of behavioral styles. And if I was to treat and communicate to each one of them in the same way as everybody else in that team, if I didn't recognize there was a D and an I and S and a C, which may not mean anything to anybody on this live stream, but that's okay. I know what it is. I can teach you how to do it, and I can help you be more effective in communicating and getting your ideas adapted, adopted, and more sales closed and serve more people. We need to be careful that we don't treat everybody the same way. If I'm a high I, which is the socializer influencer, and if I was to speak to somebody who's analytical the way I prefer to speak, they shut me down because they like details, lots and lots of details. They dot the I's, cross the T's, and then they dot the I's and cross the T's. So I'm not that kind of person. I can get things done, but not in the same way they do. So if I was too fast and too inaccurate in what I'm communicating to somebody who's an analytical thinker, there's a disconnect. I won't be able to serve them. So the platinum rule is do unto others how they prefer to be done unto. So if you put that into your writing, your presentation, and understanding your human relationships dynamics, you'll have a much, much better success. So remember this. The platinum rule, not the golden rule. The golden rule is okay, but if you want to have more impact, serve more people, and move things along quicker, learn how to do the platinum rule. So I'm going to bring in somebody today who's a kick-ass kind of guy. He's really effective in the world of making your pizzas show up as if they were right out of the oven at the restaurant. My friend, Eric Bam.
You said you're going to bring on a kick-ass guy. Is there someone else coming on the show besides me, or?
Well, no, they told me it was you.
The
nickname is Eric Bam, right?
That's yes, by the way, I have this same book, and it's incredible. So do you have an autographed copy like I do?
I do.
I'm sure you do.
I don't have a pizza in mine, though.
Yeah, I hear you. You know, I was going to mention, as you were talking about the platinum rule, I always love that because the golden rule, there you go, Coach Phil. The golden rule is kind of a miss, isn't it? Because you can't treat people the way you want to be treated unless, you know, and everybody has different standards of what that looks like. And, you know, if the golden rule was treat people the way you want to be treated, well, you might like sushi and I might hate it. And so I might say, hey, Phil, let's go out for sushi. And you're like, well, that doesn't work for me. And I would want to be nice and take you out and buy, and there's no value in sushi for you. So no doubt. But good to see you back on. I missed you the last couple of days. I enjoy watching your live show. And so we missed you the last couple of days. I know you had a couple of things going on, but missed you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, opportunities there. And when the client and prospective client wants to be served, you need to serve them. As much as I can. I control my calendar. But some of the people I work with are spread out. They're not all in the same time zones. So they're a couple hours ahead of me in some areas. So,
you know, I was going to ask you as the coach, you know, from a management standpoint, the golden rule is really hard as well. Because if you're trying to manage a team and you want everyone bought into the same vision, but you've got to manage everyone differently to get their buy-in to buy into the vision. Do you have any thoughts or ideas regarding that?
Yeah, totally. It doesn't matter whether you're selling a product or a service or an idea to a group of people. Communications and selling is pretty much the same. And we need to follow, well, actually, that's bad coaching language. We don't need to do a darn thing. Probably a good idea, though, to pay attention to what your team is about. How do they like to communicate? Do you have people that are reserved and thoughtful? Do you have people that are fast-paced and just want the quick sound bite of what the opportunity is? And then you have some other people that need more time to understand, comprehend, and that sort of thing. So a simple thing that before I met Tony Alexandra, I met one of his partners, and I hired him as a coach 12 years ago and worked with him for about 6 months. It was probably one of the most beneficial 6 months in terms of understanding people's behavioral style. He really simplified it and made it easier for me to help my clients assimilate their ability to communicate and get their ideas across. Like I said at the beginning of this, we're as high as 75% of the time, we're at risk of communicating in a way that doesn't make sense to the person we're communicating with. You use sushi, that's a good example of an experiential sort of thing. It could be as simple, though, as the way you talk to people. You're too fast, you're not enough details. There's 4 characteristics, D, I, S, and C. So that's dominant, direct, influencer, socializer, and the S is a steady kind of harmony for everybody, and the C is analytical and a thinker. And being labeled or fitting into any one category is not a big deal. It's not wrong. It's not good, bad, or it's just understanding how people like to communicate. So if you can understand that and you're guiding the team, whether I've done this with a hockey team, and find out what each team member's motive for is and how they like to be communicated to.
Yep.
And I was inspired last week by an email I got from somebody that chastised me for something I had done in a post. There was a mistake in it, actually. But their approach in telling me how to do something actually pissed me off, actually. It really pissed me off.
Right.
It really pissed me off. And if they had have communicated, so we all have all 4 of these traits, by the way. And just to give you a quick lesson in this, is that we usually have 2 dominant ones. And my dominant one is I, influencer. Don't want to upset anybody is really where I like to get you liked by everybody. But if you upset me, piss me off, and push a hot button, the nicety in me disappears and my D shows up. I become more direct, more diligent, and faster paced. So I reached out to a buddy of mine and I vented and didn't do what I was going to do. And I managed my anger. And a few days later, I got a phone call from another buddy of mine. And I was telling him about the same situation, but by this time the spark had dissipated. And he started telling me about how his daughter was having an issue with writing a poem. And I won't go into a long story of that. You can go read the post.
No, I saw that on your live the other day where she got help from mom and dad and ended up getting an A, right? And that was kind of an aha moment for you?
It was, and the aha moment was the difference between those 2 different people was a world of difference, because the person who was sharing that story was actually third-party coaching me. Yeah. And as he was telling the story, a light bulb went on. And I said, oh, yeah, I need to tell myself something different about my ability to write. Instead of saying, oh, I don't like writing, I'm not a good writer. Stop that monkey brain, which is what he did. And at the same time, he didn't create a new body part for me, and he inspired me to action. And as a result of his understanding my different style and speaking to my dominant style, he inspired me into action to do something positive. So that was a nugget. I teach this stuff, but I'm not perfect, and I don't think anybody is. And as a result of the lessons show up.
Well, two things. I'm a shy introvert. I don't know if you know that. And secondly, I'm really big on what goes on right here. And I love to hear a guy like you say, look, I'm not perfect. And I had a moment where, I think the best kick in the butt you can get is the one you give yourself. And when you have that realization that, hey, what's going on between my ears is holding me back a little bit. And, sometimes along those same lines, we let ourselves be lazy. And we tell ourselves, well, I can't do that. I can't do this. And the reality is you can do it. I think one of the misses we have sometimes as parents is we expect our kids to be straight A students, when the reality is we're not all, my strengths now. I think you play to your strengths. And should you try to get better at your weaknesses? Of course, but play to your strengths. And I look back on that, and I have, an 8-year-old daughter that we expect her to be a straight A student. But the reality is she may not be great at English, but she could be exceptional at math. And so, but along the same line, sometimes we do hold ourselves back just by telling ourselves, well, I can't do that. And maybe we can't be a straight A student, but maybe we can be 5 A's and 1 B, and that's good enough,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's taking us down a slightly different tangent, which is okay. Sarah Blakely, I don't know if you know who she is. Do you know who she is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. I know who you're talking about.
It's an amazing story. And if you don't know who she is, those that are watching this live and or on a replay, you want to go check out Sarah Blakely. She's an amazing, amazing woman that turned herself into a billionaire. But it's not all about the money. It's what she did and who she became. And the nugget that I wanted to share that I got from her was something her father instilled in her and her brother. And I don't know if they did it every supper time, but at least once a week, he'd ask them, "So guys, what did you fail at today?" And if they didn't have something that they could brag about that they tried and it didn't work out, he'd be upset. So her perception of failing is totally different than the majority of people seeing failing as something that's terrible versus it's an opportunity to learn. And the acronym FAIL is one of my favorite. It's first attempt in learning. So if you keep that in mind as you're trying something different, it's powerful.
I can see you typing away. It's going to show up right here, isn't it? It's going to show up right there. And fail.
Well, no.
Oh, I thought for sure you were going to post that up there. Come on now, Phil. Come on.
Nah. Are you telling me what to do? Do you not know my style? Please don't like to be told what to do.
Right. I have a question for you. What's the first car you ever had?
It was a bicycle.
Was that back when they invented the wheel or something, or what?
I look pretty good. I'm 165, not just 65. The lighting that I got from Bruce that he told me I should get does wonders, doesn't it?
Yeah, you look great. You look great for 100. And what'd you say, 64? 165. You're typing it in right now, aren't you? Fail. First attempt at learning.
I wouldn't. I don't like to be told
learning. You're an acronym guy. You've got the acronyms for a lot of stuff. I mean, I love that stuff.
Why do you think that is?
Well, because A, you're a coach, and B, I think it's those are great ways to learn. Those are great things that stick in your head, little earworms. Is that what they call them? They kind of stick, and I love those things.
Yeah, or what's the fancy scientific word? Memetics.
Yes.
Something we all the time. So you hit it right on the point. The reason I like acronyms is it's easier for me to remember all the stuff. And it's like one of my teachers and mentors when I was in Seattle in 2011 September. He was standing on the stage, leaning up against the table up there, and he says, "Don't worry about the principles. Just remember the stories. The principles are in there." So that's the same thing for me here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, I'm sure there's probably about 3,000 people watching this, and hopefully all day long they're gonna be like, "Fail, first attempt in learning. Fail, first attempt in learning. Fail, first attempt in learning." Say it 3 times, people will remember it, right? First attempt in learning. Fail. So I'm sure people will be saying it all day long and thinking about Coach Phil.
And I really hope that they think more about the platinum rule. About the fails is a pretty good thing, but the emphasis for today was to help people understand that. If you use the golden rule, you're gonna work for some people, because some people just like your behavioral style. The majority of us are not like you. So if I remember what the numbers are, see, if I was an analytical thinker, I would know exactly what the numbers are. But the approximation is the largest group is the S's, and I think they're around the 40% mark. The smallest group are the analytical thinkers in around 12%, and the other two, the D and the I, are split up by the rest. And I think the D's are 18, and that would make the I's about 20 some odd. See how I am such an I? I'm a generalist. I love it. Whereas an analytical thinker would know exactly what they were. Like my friend with the dog who knew how to inspire me to get to action. He recalls everything and he likes details. And because I understand that with him, when we're working on a project, I was trying to get him to do something. He said, "So how are we going to do that?" And I says, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I just know that we set the vision, we'll get there. And that was too woo-woo for him. So by communicating to him in a way that wasn't the way he liked to be communicated to, and I had a light bulb moment. Like I said earlier, I'm not perfect. And I realized what I needed to do is I needed to say, "Hey, buddy, this is what I'm thinking. We're going to have X amount of people in our team. We're going to be celebrating in the next couple of years, Mission Beach, in San Diego, when it's in the wintertime here and it's warm there, not so warm that it's going to drive you nuts. We're not going to be running the event. We're going to make it happen, but our consultants that are part of our team are going to be in there sharing their nuggets, and we're going to sit back looking at, wow, we really made a difference in the world because the team we put together. That's how we're going to do this. He goes, oh yeah, I get that now.
By the way, was that a coaching term earlier? A few minutes ago, you said too woo-woo for him. Was that a coaching thing or what?
Well, I don't know if it's a coaching thing, but some people don't like the pink, fluffy, white cloud, blue sky thinking. Analytical, pragmatic people like the step by step by step. They need to know how. And I'm a big fan is you don't need to know how initially. Matter of fact, what you need to know is you need to know what you want and why you want it, and know that the how will show up. How is an important piece of the puzzle, but often we get stuck on the how too soon, and the result of that, we under-deliver our potential. Anyway, that's the plan.
I appreciate you having me on. I know you're probably going to wrap this up without me on here, so thanks for having me on. I love the platinum rule versus the golden rule, and you, sir, are golden in my book.
I appreciate that, Eric, and thanks for putting the great group, and I don't have the hashtag in here, but hashtag Megamind. We're awesome, a group of people, and you help make that happen.
It's been fun.
Talk to you.
See you, bud.
So in wrapping this up, if you're looking for more information, oh, there it is. Look at that. I'm going to put this up because the hashtag's in there. Look at that. Megamind powers activate. Yes, absolutely. You get pushed, nudged, and encouraged, supported, and congratulated. Sometimes all at the same time, one right after the other. Other times it's spread out. So Wes, thanks for being here, buddy. We need to get together, have a one-on-one. Back to the platinum versus the golden rule. If you want to know more about how that can show up in your life, if you'd like to know what flavor you are in terms of a D, I, S, or C, or what combination, reach out to me. I can help you with that. All you have to do is put DISC, D-I-S-C, in the subject line of the email and send the email to Phil@CoachPhil, and we can explore how that can happen. I could even send you a graphic of a dashboard of the speedometer and the temperature gauge. Even with that, you have a leg up over anybody else who doesn't. So if you would like to inspire more people to take action on your ideas, reach out and ask for the dashboard. Happy to send it to you. I'm Coach Phil with the Business Renovator. Until next time, have a marvelous day.